All of you, please mute your mic.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
So, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay, great.
Sir, we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Let the people join.
Absolutely, no problem. So far, I could see
38.
38 participants. 38. Okay, we'll wait.
Madhukiran, don't share anything. Don't present your screen.
ராஜா சார்
Sir.
சார் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்ட கொஞ்சம் அந்த ஸ்க்ரீனை பின் பண்றதை சொல்லிருங்க அந்த இன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷனை.
Okay, okay.
ஏன்னா போன கிளாஸ் கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டப்பட்டாங்க லாஸ்ட் இயர்.
Students, at the bottom, you have, wait a minute. There is a button at the bottom as print. Present now. Don't press that button. If you present it in the sense you are going to deliver something. That is the meaning on this. So don't get any other options. Resource person will be delivering everything. So please be patient. Once your colleagues have joined it, we will start the session. Nikita, stop presenting. Nikita. Madhukiran. All of you switch off your video mode. Both mute your mic as well as video mode also. Vikardin sir.
Yes, I'm here.
Shall we start, sir? Let the people join later. No issue.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start.
Okay, sir.
So
Good
you want me to
morning,
present
everyone.
or yeah?
I'll give you some introduction about yourself and then we will start.
Sure.
Good morning, everybody. Myself, Raja from CSE department. Here we are going to deliver, introduce about, we are having that eminent lecture from IBM. So before that, let me explain about our resource person, Mr. Vigoruddin Soki. He is from IBM India Private Limited. He has the experience of over 20 years of experience. He is a dedicated consultant and a corporate trainer with over 16 years of experience in corporate. He has a strong class handling skills and a capacity to deliver the training for the subjects like open source, Linux, IT infrastructure, and cloud computing at ease and adapt to the learning requirements of the client and the participants. His greatest strength is business awareness. In regarding that experience, he has 17 years of experience in corporate training, project management, team building, documentation, e-learning and integration, multimedia, instructional design in electronic and print media. In terms of technical skills, he is well experienced in open source tools, cloud computing and virtualization, business analytics, IT infrastructure. Okay. So with this introduction, let me invite our resource person, Mr. Vigoruddin, to deliver his speech. I welcome you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Raja, and so kind of you. And first of all, let me welcome the students. So, dear students, a warm welcome to this program. And you are really, lucky to have enrolled in this program, because during our days when I used to graduate, we didn't have anything called as this specialization, this industry-based specialization. So, hearty, warm welcome from IBM to all of you. And apart from this, sir, if you can present the screen, or should I start presenting?
Yeah, no issue, sir.
So we can go to, yeah, we can. So myself, Vikaruddin Surki, and I've been with IBM since a very long time, since 2005. This is my 17th or 16th or 17th year at IBM. Having said that, I have worked with many of the students across industries, and I have almost, it's like a day-to-day basis that I keep working with the students. I mean, unfortunately, it's really, I feel sad that there are some travel restrictions still, that we cannot travel to the campus, neither the students can come to the campus. But yes, one good thing is the good use of technology. So wherever you go nowadays, this generation, especially, technology is a key part which plays in connecting. So I could see around nearly 100 students here. I would never thought that maybe we could connect one day virtually. So physically present in the campus, it's not possible, but virtually, yes, we are still connected, and thanks to technology. And there are so many technologies in the way how we connect, how we speak, how we capture the screens, record. There are so many other. You see, Google Meet is there, YouTube is there, then Zoom is there, Cisco is there. So all that is fine. Each and every enterprise has its own way of representing itself. So without taking any time, let me just start with what I have today. Students, what I mean to say is, see, you have come here for a purpose. Okay, today we have joined 1 hour at time. It's a precious time. So we need to understand what is the takeaway from this learning. So maybe these slides, what I am presenting, it is not technical, but you should understand what is it that you are doing, and what is it that you're going to get benefited out of time. You have paid a certain amount of fees, which is an amount. Even if it is 5,000, it is an amount. Even if it is 10,000, it is an amount. Even if it is 40,000, that is an amount. But what are you getting out of it is most important. And at the same time, you also need to understand 4 years from now what I'm going to do and how will I do it. See, whatever the education, whatever the infrastructure, whatever is there you get at the campus, that is fine. You learn something. The faculties are absolutely amazing faculties at Kare University, very good infrastructure and very good location, a good lab facilities. You learn something. The faculties teach you something. Okay, that is important. But what is more important when you go into especially technical subjects is how you learn. That is the key. So we have our own ways, the corporates have their own way of teaching. All this is going for a purpose, and the purpose is to make you industry ready. So when I say industry ready, we want to assure that each and every student who is enrolled into this program is successful in his career. You must be having a vision. You must be having a goal for yourself. Okay, 4 years from now, I want to become an engineer. I want to become an artificial intelligence or programmer or developer. I want to become a business analytic research person. I want to be an ethical hacker. I want to join the cybercrime cell. I want to be a director. I want to be a database administrator. I want to be a key research person in getting up new technologies. So this is what we teach at the campus. So the best part is not only we try to make you a good employee, but you have a lot of opportunities with us if you want to become a good employer. So if you want to become a good employer, when I say employer, you can have your own setup. So there are many students nowadays. So there are many students in our program who are successful entrepreneurs, who have started their own business. Someone is a cloud analyst, someone is a business analytic, someone is an ethical hacker, someone is an AI specialist. So these are all the key things what you learn. So at the end of this presentation, you should walk away from this meeting room with some key takeaway points. How is it that I'm going to prepare? And what is IBM actually? What does IBM do? IBM is a corporate company. It's a huge enterprise with nearly 3 lakh employees. But why in academics? What do I get from IBM if I learn this? So we'll just go through this. Sir, can you just move to the next slide? Raja sir? Okay, fine.
Yeah, hi.
So, okay. So this is what IBM is. It's one of the most respected brand in the world. It's a major IT consultancy group which provides, it's a service provider in all technologies. You talk about analytics, it has a solution. You talk about cloud computing, it has a solution. You talk of storage, you talk of server, mainframe servers. IBM is well known, renowned, and it's one of the most robust servers that anybody has built so far. And you talk about health insurance, you talk about banking, you talk about cyber security, you talk about IoT, everything is there in IBM. Okay, IBM presence is nearly in more than 170 countries. Okay, almost each and every part of the world, IBM has an office. Somewhere in Singapore, you have an accounts office. Somewhere in Bangalore, you have a development center. So in Bangalore itself, we have nearly around 4 to 5 offices. There's a huge development center. There's a huge resource center. There's a huge data center in IBM. You go to Noida, it's one of the biggest data centers what we have in Noida. So there is training centers, there are induction programs happening. There's so many things happening in IBM. Can we go to the slide, please?
Next.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 Nobel laureates awardees are present in one of IBM resources. There are 6 Nobel laureates in IBM. 6 Turing Awards won till date. Turing Awards is one of the most coveted awards that an enterprise could get. So IBM has nearly around 6 Turing Awards. Okay. Inventions include the ATM machines, the mainframe servers, and the PC, the SQL programming, UPC barcode. The moment you walk into any mall, you see a barcode. All these were invented by IBM. Okay, IBM has invented more than $6 billion in a year only for research and development. This is how you progress yourself. Okay, nearly half of the patents to IBM is one of the most number of patent holders in any organization. It nearly has around 2,000 patents, 9,000 patents in the year 2017 only. Now the number has gone. And out of this patents, 40% of the patents are coming from India. This is what you should be really feel proud of, that, we as Indians, we are keen to learn on new technologies, keen to do research, keen to do unique things. Okay, sir, we'll go to the next slide. IBM, now you must be thinking IBM is a corporate, IBM is an enterprise, but why IBM has gone into academia? Academia means why IBM is going to the universities and teaching. This started all back in 1944, where IBM had the first collaboration with Harvard University. And then slowly IBM started to support the computer science at this university, which was later adopted in worldwide. And then Center for Advanced Studies, which was launched in Canada. And then slowly we got academic initiatives in 2004, the world's largest pool of resources for academia. So I'll tell you something about academic initiative. The moment you students are enrolled into this program, you also become eligible for academic initiatives. That means you all the students who are present here, you need to go and register into that academic initiative portal, and from the portal you get lots and lots of resources. You get good technology based tools to work on. You get a couple of softwares which are free from IBM, and you get a couple of good projects to work on from IBM. You get good mentors from IBM, and every month on month you get a lot of webinars where you can learn additional skills and add badges to your resume. Badges, I'll come back to that later. So there are so many key things that IBM does. Okay, in 2010 Innovation Awards curriculum for the Smarter Planet. I mean, we had come up with a curriculum, what the subjects what you're learning now, that is known as a curriculum, a grid, what we call it as a grid. What are the subjects? How do we learn this subject? When are these subjects going to be placed in the first semester or second semester? So we got an innovation award in that on bringing up key subjects to learn technology. So this is the IBM journey. I mean, we had this Cloud Academy in 2008, and 2017, 2011, we started our program called as Innovation Center for Education. So it started from nearly around 30 students, and till date, we are nearly around 10,000 or 11,000 students across the globe. So this is the journey of IBM into academia. So slowly, gradually, we have different modes of learning with different ways, different technologies, and different specializations, what you call. So all these things we have at IBM. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so this is another slide which talks about IBM more than 73 years of delivering e-learning solutions. There are a couple of instructor-led online and e-learning courses. Approximately 1.3 million student training days delivered annually, and there are nearly around 40,000 classes held annually from IBM. Technical conferences are there, IBM certifications are there. So I just if I talk about IBM, it'll take much longer time. So I recommend all the students just log into www.ibm.com. You can just note it down. To know more about IBM, you can just log in there. Just as a reference, what is the program that you're going to enroll in? You need to go and look out for these specializations. So this is how we take a gradual step, initial step in learning. What we need to understand is what are the key areas that you have to focus on, and what are the industry expectations that are going to come in the future. Industry has a lot of expectations. Now it is the time for you students to have multiple skills. One skill is not going to be enough. You need to have multiple skills. So you log into the website, you see various technologies, how the world is progressing, where IBM has progressed, how IBM is helping the industry in coping up, how IBM is providing solutions to the problems what the industries are facing. Even all this data, everything is data. You can have this data, you can collect this data, you can start working on it right now. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, now we'll come back to Innovation Center for Education. This is what the program, what you students are being enrolled. Our objective is to prepare young professionals who lead building a smarter planet. Okay, we enable you by providing industry domain skills right through the university curriculum what we have. We talk to the universities. We talk to Kalislingam University. We conduct a curriculum workshop. We have a board of studies. We get involved into that. In the curriculum workshop, we add subjects, what the specialization subjects. Each semester, you will have one subject each. This is where you will start learning your skills. Okay, and time to time, you'll be put to applied aspects as well. Applied aspects is what you learn is what you apply practically. So there are where are the laboratories placed, how these laboratories are placed, how many credits each subject should have. So these are all the curriculum things that do happen. These are all the subjects what we take guidance from the industry leaders. We take guidance from the industry subject matter experts. We collect all this. We talk to the university and say, look, this is the thing what the student should be learning on. This is the thing what students should be focusing on. There is a continuous upgradation that happens to the subjects. It depends on how the industry progresses. So just for an example, if you look at things what went in 2019 and what are the things happening in 2020, there is a huge amount of change. The way how industry is thinking, the complete focus has changed. 2019, everything was physical. 2020, March onwards, March 22nd onwards, when the lockdown happened, things have changed drastically. Absolutely, it's a very, very minimal room for error, and people have still started to connect. There are new technologies that have come. Industry's thinking thought process has changed now. Industry expectations are different now. Industry wants people to work remotely now. Remotely and at a very less cost. There's a lot of innovation that is happening. There's a lot of data that has come in within these 3 months. I request if someone can go on mute. Could hear a lot of background noise. I request all the students to be on mute, please. I could hear a lot of background noise. Okay. So still I could hear a lot of background noise. Yeah, SM Rafi, can you please go on mute, please? Okay, thank you so much. And sir, we'll go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay, these are the emerging technologies for the future. Okay, this is the skilling. Sorry, can you just go to the previous slide? Okay, so this is the emerging technologies. The future is now. This is where see, if you want to select a specialization, if you want to choose what is the specialization, you need to look at the industry. You need to do a little bit of research and see where the industry is moving. See, there is a lot of investment that is happening from companies. Companies are willing to spend on these technologies. Why? They're doing a lot of research. They feel that this is the area that they have to catch on. See, cloud technologies, $411 billion of investment is going to come. It's going to happen in 2020. Internet of Things, $267 billion. Big data and business analytics, it's again next, 210 billion. Cyber security, again, a very important technology that is going to come. So that is another investment which is happening, 231. I'm talking about in $1 billion. Gaming is there, artificial intelligence, which is booming up in the market now. It is one of the most, it's a hot cake in the market now. Artificial intelligence. Then there is blockchain, which slowly comes up, and there are so many other new technologies that is going to come up in the future as well. Maybe I'm not sure. If we go by 2022 or 2023, there'll be a lot of other technologies that will come up in the future. So you need to think the areas on which you are strong at, and decide what is the technology that you have to choose. Artificial intelligence also good. Cyber security is also good. IoT is also good. Business analytics is also good. All these 4 areas are the key emerging technologies in the area. Okay. Now you need to decide the areas in which you are strong at. You are good at mathematical skills. You are good at analytical skills. You are good at operating systems, networking, or you are good at logical thinking. So just do a brief study. Just go onto the internet. I mean, just spend 10 or 15 minutes on the internet. See how the vacancies are existing. See how the world is progressing. This is where you need to come up with new ideas, new thoughts, and you need to, at the same time, you need to see the areas in which you are strong at. If you're good at mathematics, if you're good at analytical skills, advanced technologies, or you're good at algorithms, then artificial intelligence is very good. If you're good at electronics, if you're good at writing code and all these things, and then Internet of Things is very good for you. If you're good at logical thinking, if you're good at, again, some little bit of medium, intermediate and mathematical skills, then you go for business analytics. Business analytics doesn't require much of a coding. Or then if you're good at operating systems, you're good at networking, and you have the zest to learn new things and how to sneak into other systems. If you are interested in security, all those things, then you can choose cyber security, which is a really very good fit. All these areas are key areas in the market now. And each and every technology has equal importance. See, end of the day, when you learn technology, technology is not a parallel line. Technology meets somewhere. If you learn Internet of Things, it doesn't mean that you will not be working on analytics. You will be working on analytics. Half of artificial intelligence is your analytics, your data. So when you have your data, how you are going to protect your data? That becomes another thing. So all these technologies meet at one end. This is why you could see the type of projects what you get when you are learning this specialized courses. You will get projects on business analytics. You will get projects in cyber security. You have to mix this. We call it as cross domain. Mapping your technology versus the domain. So, sir, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, this is where the skilling through industry aligned projects. So this is what the industry expects. Okay, see, towards the left hand side, if you see the emerging new technologies, and towards the right hand side, you see the industry domain areas. So if you come to the technologies, you have cloud computing, you have data science, you have mobile computing, cyber security, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence and machine learning, open source, graphics and gaming. See now where you can apply these technologies. You can apply all this technology. You can apply in oil and gas informatics. You can apply in banking and finance. You can apply in telecom informatics. You can apply in retail and commerce. All your Facebook, all your LinkedIn, all your Flipkart. Where is this data residing? It is residing somewhere in cloud, and this data is protected. There are so many protections available for this. There is a data security, there is a finance security, there is a physical security, there is a system security, there is a network security. So obviously, cybersecurity comes into picture. Cybersecurity has to be applied everywhere. I mean, you'll not be surprised if a bank, HDFC Bank, or any big bank comes to your campus for recruitment. It doesn't mean that you will become an accountant. They come to the campus looking out for cybersecurity professionals who can really work on the data, protect their systems. You see, there are so many hackers there because it is finance. There is a backend team. There's a huge IT team that works at the backend. Each and every bank, though you may not see them, but there's a huge backend team. Your entire banking industry relies on it. And then next comes data science or data analytics or business analytics, whatever you call. Each and every industry, whatever is working today, needs data. Without data, you cannot work anything at all. Let it be an university, let it be e-commerce, let it be Flipkart, let it be Facebook. What does Facebook work on? What does Facebook has? Facebook has your data. Data in the form of pictures, data in the form of videos, data in the form of your web pages, data in the form of what you type on Facebook. It's all data. Where do you store this data? How do you get back this data? How do you connect the server? This is always a technology. How do I attract people? How do I credit card? How do I sell my credit card to a customer? What is his history? What is his spending pattern? This is all business analytics. This is all the tools that you work on. Even oil and gas company needs data. If you talk of America, it needs data. It'll understand data, how much oil Saudi Arabia has, how much oil the Middle East companies has, how much oil does this survive. So this is all data. They are trying to retrieve data and see what can be done. How can we improvise this? And then next comes IoT, Internet of Things, your sensors, automations. The moment you open the door, the light should come on. The moment you walk out of the door, the server should switch off. You can sit in Chennai, or you can sit in Tanjore, you can sit in Madurai, and still you can control your home. You can sit in, say, Madurai, you can sit in your campus and see what is happening next to your door. You have physical security systems, you have cameras, you have IoT sensor devices which connects to an app. Your app can be artificial intelligence based application. So my saying is that you learn a technology and see where it can be applied. IoT is applied now in textile industries. IoT is now applied in agriculture industry. Artificial intelligence application. One of the biggest users of artificial intelligence is Swiggy. Can you imagine? Swiggy is where you order for food. You go to their app and see how cleverly it identifies you. Once you order food, next time it will tell you what you have ordered the last time, and it will give you preferences. It will try to identify whether you are vegetarian or you're non-vegetarian just by what you order on Swiggy. You talk about Flipkart. You go and buy a spectacle in Flipkart, and it will give you more suggestions. It'll also tell you what you have to buy, and if you post your picture, it will also tell you which frame suits your face. This is what the applications do. So these are all the data that has been collected over the past years, and they refine this data and put it into a logical structure and write a beautiful algorithm on top of it, and then come up with an application. It's very easy. I mean, it's not that you have to sit and write 1,000 lines of code. Everything is easy nowadays. You have Android, you have Eclipse, ready-made library, ready-made built-in code. All you have to do is you have to be innovative. Drag and drop the applications, drag and drop the right libraries, choose the right libraries, build up a module, and then your application is done. So in my days, I used to write around 100 lines of code in 2 days or 3 days. Now it is not required. You can just build an app in half an hour or 45 minutes. Open source tools are there. If you don't wish to work on Windows, if you don't have money to spend or buy a license on Windows, you can use Linux free of cost. The world is shifting over to Linux now. So this is what the technologies do. This is what how you need to think. What is the right area that I need to choose? Any technology, whatever you learn, wide range of job opportunities for you. Each and every industry, whatever the industries are here, even the film industry, even the graphics and gaming industry. You talk about film industry, many applications have been built for film industry. Automation happens in film industry. Now you don't need an actor to dance. Your application will tell the actor how to dance. He has to just make his movements. And the application will redo the thing. There are voice modulation softwares. It adds effects to your voice. And that application, artificial application, will tell the device what type of voice it suits you. There are so many IoT devices that has come into picture. The moment you raise your voice, these sensors, they cut that frequency and resolution of it. It will automatically adjust to the screens. There are so many things happening in the film industry. Again, where is it stored? If you talk about 1980s or 1970s, there used to be huge bundles of reels that used to come to the theater, and they used to do it. Nowadays, it is not. You walk to a mall, you walk into multiplex, you won't see those rolls of screens coming in. It's all streamed. Somewhere on cloud, that film has been stored, and live streaming happens. You see the quality has changed. So this is what technology does. Okay. Right, sir. So emphasize on developing capability to build IT solutions. We provide you, we make the students to think what could be the next. We give you a freedom, we give you independency. It's something like play and learn. You go out, you walk out of your houses and see the traffic congestions in your city locality. You collect the data, build an application, present it to the government. This is how you work. Data is everywhere. You go to any agriculture field. Madurai, there are a lot of agriculture fields. Nowadays, IoT is booming into agriculture. You just walk out, collect data, collect samples. What is the type of soil that you have in your area? How can I improvise this soil? What is the best type of crop I can use? You give all this data to that application, and that application will guide you and tell you what is it that you have to put now. Your application will also give you the weather conditions. Approximately at 3 months from now, you will get rains, weather predictions, predictive analytics. So you can plan your activities well ahead in advance. And see, best is you do a research. 4 years from now, how many engineering graduates are going to pass, including me? It will be somewhere around lakhs. Now you do. So do we have 4 lakh jobs in Madurai by 2023? No. Then where do we have jobs? Which city has more jobs? How do I plan? If I have to go to Delhi, how do I have to plan? If I have to go to Bangalore and work, how do I plan? Do I have relatives? Do I have a room? All this data you can be easily fetched into your from the Google, from the internet, and you can start and come up with your own application and self-modeling. Okay, right, sir. We'll go to the next slide. Okay, what sets ICE apart is I was just discussing to you about what you learn and how you learn. What you learn at the university is very, very important. How you learn makes much more important. Okay, technology is learned in a different way. If you learn technology, whatever you have learned, you have to sit and practice. Practice in the sense you have to do hands-on. There are so many softwares available in the market now. Those days are gone where you had to spend money and buy a license. Now it is not. It is everything is open source. You have created, cleared of all the dependencies. Any open source tool. Your IoT has so many open source tools. You want to build a circuit diagram or you want to build a sensor. There are so many open source tools. Artificial intelligence application, you want to write a code, use Python, free and open source. Business analytics, use R, use Tableau, again open source. Cloud computing, of open source. Cyber security, there are tools, open source tools to work on. Most of the time you'll be working on Linux operating system, again open source. Not one operating system. Linux has multiple flavors. Ubuntu, Kali, CentOS, everything is free, open source. Unlike Microsoft Windows, where you have to pay some money and buy a license, that is not required. You buy a laptop, everything you get installed, you start working. So focus on industry preparedness. We give you much focus on industry preparedness. When I say industry preparedness, we tell you what the industry expectations are 4 years from now. I told you a good example, 2019 and 2020, there was a huge difference in the industry expectations. Industry now expects people to be multiple skilled. You must have heard of, when this lockdown happened, you must have heard so many job cuts were there. Microsoft removed so much, Citibank removed so much, this guy removed so much of jobs, but still people are working. If you have multiple skills in hand, I mean, I'll assure you, each and every company will be looking out for you. There are so many job opportunities. And I'll tell you something very interesting. There is going to be a research center in each of these technologies in India, in each state. Tamil Nadu will have one research center. Karnataka will have one separate research center. All these things are coming up now. By 2024 or 2023, all these research centers will be there in across all the states. Imagine the amount of resources required to work. நிறைய பேர் வேணும், நிறைய resources வேணும் இதுக்கு. So you need, people will look out for people like cyber security or artificial intelligence or IoT or analytics. Each and every area will have resource centers. This is the plan of the government. Building smarter cities, using smart technology, simplifying the process of jobs, your traffic system, your insurance, your healthcare. Healthcare is another area which has gained more focus now. How to use technology in healthcare, how to build intelligent applications, how to build robots. You see here the COVID, how it is spreading. Fantastically, what the people have done, they have put robots now. They're using robots to treat the patients. A robot will sense your temperature. It will tell you whether do you have symptoms or not. It will scan your entire body. I don't need a human to be there. So this is how the industry is working on. This is how the industry is trying to simplify the process. Well-planned teaching methodology. I'll come back to this portion in the next slide, well-planned teaching methodology. And the next what I'm talking about is enhanced employability. 90% of our students are placed in big organizations with good packages. Why? Because there's a preference in the market. What is that preference? So when you go for an interview, always an employer will look for a candidate who is industry ready. When I say industry ready, those days are gone when people used to recruit people from the campus and they used to take them to their campus and train them for 6 months, pay them 20,000 stipend for 6 months and spend money on infrastructure for 6 months. Those days are gone now. Because the companies, they don't want to spend. They feel that instead of spending that amount, why not I make the student industry ready right within the campus by teaching technology subjects. If I do this, what happens is the student is ready to be deployed on the projects. So I save my entire 6 months stipend. I save my entire infrastructure for 6 months. I save my entire resource, efforts, everything for 6 months. I just pick the students from the campus and deploy him on a project. The student takes a minimum of 2 to 3 days of training and he's ready to go on the project. Preference is given to you in the market nowadays. The more skills you have, the more higher you go in the market. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. So this is the IBM ICE program component. This is what exactly we do at the campus. There is something called as curriculum workshop. The first point, whenever an agreement is done, whenever we have collaborated with the university, this happened in Kalasingham University Research Academy as well. There was a curriculum workshop. All the head of the departments were there, all the industry persons were there. Then we decided what technology should be taught in this campus, what specialization subject should be taught in this campus, which semester, which subject should go, what are the prerequisites required for each and every subject, how should the laboratories be placed, how many hours of laboratory, how many electives should be there. All this was decided and there was a conclusion. So this is what we do at the campus. First thing is the curriculum workshop. When the curriculum is decided, then there comes the teach the trainer program. So what do we mean by teach the trainer program? We want each and every member of the university to be enabled and to be aware of technology. First, we teach the faculties in the campus. Our subject matter experts from IBM or from anywhere, he goes to the campus and he starts teaching the faculties. He makes them awareness about what is going to come, what is the curriculum is all about. He teaches them the subject, the specialization for the semester wise, and he gains knowledge to them. And apart from this, the faculties are also given an assessment. They're also given a test, and even the faculties are given certificates. So this and this faculty is good, and they have undergone this training, and they are now ready to teach the students. So then next what happens is the faculty start teaching the students. So once first month is completed, IBM subject matter expert go back to the campus again. And this time they will not teach the faculties, they'll teach the student directly. IBM subject matter, this is called as industry learning. They give you an industry perspective. They give you on the subject what you're learning, what is going to come up next. Which are the software, which are the tools that you need to focus on? What are the type of projects that you have to focus on? Each and every student can be connected with the subject matter expert. They will give you your contact details, they'll share your details. You can talk to them, you can seek guidance from them. These are called as webinars. This will not happen once. This will happen, the industry experts will come back to the campus 2 or 3 times to teach you. Okay. Apart from this, you will be having industry guest lectures also. People from other universities, they also walk into the campus or they conduct an online training for the students. And then what happens is you get a physical book from IBM. Apart from this, you will get access to the portal. We have an LMS where we upload all the content. Whatever the faculties teaches you, all the content is there on the portal. Student will get access to the portal 24/7. And by October or November, we are going to come up with a mobile app also, so that you can have this app in hand. It's a 24/7. So whatever the content is there, what you have to learn, everything will be there. And you will get a lot of videos to learn from within the IBM videos to learn from. You get additional reference materials. Everything is there. Okay. Then you have the non-academic activities. You get a student kit. You get
app name.
App has not yet come. It is coming. We call it as Solar. Okay, app is coming in November.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks. So non-academic delivery activities is there. You get a lot of student kits. You get IBM T-shirts and all the stuff. So there are many more other goodies that comes your way. And apart from this, there is one more activity called as Gurukul, or the summer excitement, what we call. Gurukul is an activity that will be conducted in Bangalore or anywhere in India, or maybe within your campus also. Okay, students come down, travel for 2 days or 3 days, and they get industry guest lectures, various other industry experts from Wipro, Cognizant. They all come to the campus. They all come and share their views. There are HR persons who also come to the campus, and within this, nearly 1,500 to 2,000 students participate in this event. You will be given an opportunity to present yourself on the stage in front of this huge crowd. There'll be HR persons from Wipro, there'll be HR person from cybersecurity cells, So there are a lot of opportunities that students have gained through this Gurukul event. There'll be a project presentation also, and there'll be a hackathon event also, where you have to sit and code for nearly around say 24 hours and see the results of it. IBM subject matter experts will be evaluating this. If you are good at your projects, you will be given an internship offer in IBM. And if your internship, while at internship, if you're good, you'll be on the rolls of IBM also. There are many, nearly 16 to 17 students last year, the female students from Bhopal, they won this competition, project presentation competition and the hackathon competition, and they were selected in IBM with a paid internship of 40,000 rupees. Plus, they are on rolls of IBM. They are employees of IBM now. They stand next to me. It's a proud moment for all of us. See, I mean, by doing this course, I'm not telling that, IBM will take you, Oracle will take you. You have to prove yourself. You have to be unique in yourself. We guide you. We take you to that point and say, yes, this is what you need to focus on. Why you want to become an employee? Why not become an employer? There are so many students who have enrolled for this course and they are employers now. They come back to the campus and they recruit their juniors. This has happened also. And there are so many students who have given projects to the government free of cost. In turn, the government has given them crores of rupees to develop a huge project for them. So this is a success things what it comes out of IBM. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay. IBM ICE program offerings at Kare University. We have integrated BTech in artificial intelligence and machine learning, cybersecurity, and business analytics and IoT. It's a 4-year graduate program. What you get a graduate badge. About the badge, I'll come back later. 300 plus hours of teach time will be there. Okay, 8 subjects per track with minor and major monitor project. So what do you mean by projects? I was telling about applied aspects. When you go to the third semester, when you go to the third year, that is your 5th or 6th semester, you'll be getting a minor project. Whatever you have learned, you'll be getting a minor project. It is not that you'll be working alone. You can work independently also, or you'll get a team to work with it. And all these teams will be monitored by an IBM expert. He'll be the guide and he'll be the mentor for you for that project. Weekly once he'll come and assess the proceedings. He'll put a timeline for you. You need to work on the projects. You need to submit the projects. He'll be there as a guide for you to execute these projects. And when you go to the 7th or 8th semester, there's something called as major project. This is where the main industry is focused on. If your project, trust me, if your projects are good, all these projects, kindly note, these are monitored by IBM experts. Your projects will be taken and demonstrated worldwide. There are many, many cases that has happened in IBM where students have presented their projects and the worldwide team has appreciated and they have come down to monitor these projects and talk to the students. Many students have got jobs. Some people have got jobs even in Dell, that too in a research area, by just looking at these projects. Many students have started their own startups. They have presented these startups. We invite the startup companies in our Gurukul, our own students who have come up with startups. There are many wonderful authors who have written books about cloud computing, about analytics. They are still writing books and these books are on sale on Amazon. Our own students. I'm not talking about others. Okay. So these are the benefits. These are the advantages. These are the preferences what you get. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay. What you get from IBM. This is the most important thing. See, University Kare Research Academy will give you a degree. Once you have finished your engineering, everything, you'll get a degree. But what you get out of IBM, from IBM, you will get a digital badge. Please note, this digital badge is very, very, very critical. This badge is recognized globally, and this badge doesn't come from India. It comes from the main US head office. An authenticated badge from IBM, which is recognized globally. Okay. And I'll just give you an example how Google works. So those days are gone when you used to put advertisement in your newspapers. You don't see any advertisements in newspapers now, very few. Only government jobs offers you can see. But what happens if I go to Google and say, Google, I need 10 business analytics students to work in my organization with 1 year experience. Can you imagine how many resumes Google will give? Approximately, Google will give you nearly 50 to 60,000 resumes. And if you scroll down a little bit at the bottom and see, there are pages, 1 of 11, 2 of 11, 3 of 11, 4 of 11. Have you seen these pages? There will be links. It will go on to around 20 pages sometimes. So frankly, tell me how many of you have gone to the last page? Nobody goes to the last page. Very few people, 1% or 2%, because nobody has time. Even I don't go to the last page because I don't have time. Everything I get on the first page. So if I say, Google, give me 10 business analytics students, it will give me nearly around 50 to 60,000 resumes. So what if my resume is on the last page? Will I get an opportunity? Absolutely not. Why? Because I don't have the skills. I've just learned normal engineering graduate. See, by just learning normal engineering graduate, it doesn't mean that you will not get a job. You will get a job. But will you get a job of your choice? I don't want any student doing engineering and ending up doing call center work. There are many professionals who are doing jobs that doesn't require an engineering degree at all. This is the current industry trend. What is happening? The industries are coming back to the campus and telling, this is not what we want. We want something else. We want students to be specialized in technology. We need to re-educate the students. We have to spend the students to come and work on the project. We need to adapt. The students need to adapt. Have you seen a dinosaur? Everybody must have seen a dinosaur. A dinosaur was a very powerful animal. It was very intelligent also. But what happened? Now it is not existing. Why is not dinosaur existing? Even though at one point of time, it was one of the most ferocious animals. You had carnivorous, you had herbivorous also. But at that point of time, it was huge, massive, that everybody was afraid of dinosaurs. Now dinosaurs are not there. Why? Because they were not able to adapt to the environment, the changing environment. Students, we need to adapt to the changing environment. What is that environment is changing? A changing environment is needing technology now. People want comfort. They want to be in comfort zone. They want data, everything will be presented on time. The moment I open a refrigerator, my refrigerator has to talk to me. That is technology. That is IoT. That is AI. And my refrigerator has to tell me which vegetable is good and which vegetable is bad. This is my comfort zone. I don't have time to go to the market and see all those things. I am sitting in my office and it is a hot summer. I go to my home and while driving itself, I'll switch on the AC at home so that the moment I get into my home, the temperature is comfortable. My gates has to open automatically. My farm has to be controlled. My library management system has to be smooth. My class management software has to be smooth. My data has to be secured. All these things. So when Google says, give you so much of things, you need to add skills. Google will search only on key skills and keywords. So this badge, how will create our references? This badge is a digital badge. Once you clear all the subjects, you will get a digital badge. You can place this digital badge anywhere on Facebook, anywhere on LinkedIn, anywhere online. You can put this badge as it is. Kindly note, this badge is hyperlinked. The moment any employer or any of them, any of your friends, they click this badge will go to the IBM server and authenticate. It will tell that this student has done the course from IBM, specialized course from IBM, and these are the key skills what he has learned. It's like a one-stop shop resume for your employer. The employer will come to know what are the skills you have learned. You don't have to tell them. The employer will come to know what are the skills you have learned, what are the laboratory projects you have done. It will give an entire information to the employer. So when I say multiple skills, you can see advanced statistical analysis, big data analytics, or data warehouse. These are the skills. These are the skills which is required for business analytics. And Google will go and search for these skills. Once it finds a skill, what it will do is it will push your resume to the topmost position. Google is a search engine. It works only on your skills and keywords. And for business analytics, these are keywords. Especially for IoT, you will have keywords. Especially for AI/ML, you have different keywords. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, machine learning, linguistic programming, algorithm. For cyber security, physical security, system security, network security, ethical hacking. For analytics, it is data mining, business analytics, social web and mobile analytics, predictive analytics. These are all the key things what you learn. This is the importance of that. This is what IBM gives you during your end of your tenure. You can look out on the internet for IBM digital badges. You can see the importance of it. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. So this is some data about artificial intelligence. Each and every industry is looking out for artificial intelligence now. Artificial intelligence is in sports. You watch the US Open. If any of you are interested in sports, you watch the US Open, and beside the scoreboard, you can see IBM logo there. It is not a sponsorship logo. It is an application that is working behind collecting the data. It gives you the players' data. This is how the players also fetch information from it. Machine learning, IBM Watson is there. Your emails are there. Amazon recommendations, your Flipkart, Google search algorithms. You try to book an IRCTC railway ticket. It will give you assumptions whether you will get a waiting list confirmed or not. These are all AI applications, deep learning, your robotics, your driving systems, everything. Every industry needs automation now. Your automobile industry, your aerospace industry, textile industry. There's a huge amount of growth for artificial intelligence. Your hotel industry. And look where the company is spending. It's all in $1 billion. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Data analytics. Okay, you compare now. So 90% of the world's data was created in the last 2 years. Can you imagine this? Every day you will get data. Your Facebook is filled with data. Your Amazon is filled with the data. Your university has a data system. Your university has a data center. What does that information? It has all the crucial information of the students, well protected. So these are all raw data that is flowing on the internet now. Your job as an analyst is to refine this data and see how we can visualize and present this. This is how business gets transformed. This is how startups work. They collect the data and see what is that unique thing that they have to do a research and they have to work on. 53% of the companies knows there is a gap between availability of data and the ability to get insights from it. There is still a shortfall. And nearly 10 lakh customer transactions happens per hour. And 2.5 exabytes of data created every day. How much is exabytes? So many gigabytes. So many
Can you repeat it, that
53%?
53%?
24 terabytes. See, 53% of the companies knows there is a gap between the availability of data and their ability to get insights from it. So what happens here in this 53%? Still 53% of the companies knows they don't know from where this data is. How do we get this data? See, Facebook has the data, right? What is the data Facebook has? Your own personal information. Will Facebook give your data to others? It should not give. It's a privacy, it's a security. There is data in this world. There is huge amount of data, but 53% of the companies, they don't know how to get this data. Why? Because they don't have professionals to fetch this data. They need students, they need employees who worked on data analytics or data science, who have worked on tools and who can see how they can fetch the data. For example, I'll give you an example of Flipkart. The moment you will go to Flipkart, you log into Flipkart, you see how the Flipkart behaves. It will start interacting with you. What is the data Flipkart has? It has nothing. But the moment you log in, what happens? You are giving yourself your personal information. Not only that, you don't only sell yourself, you sell your friends also on internet.
Excuse me, sir.
The moment you go and buy a software, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We are running out of time.
Yeah, just go to the next slide. We'll just wind it up. Just I have 5 minutes. Okay, just go to the next slide. Now, can you just zoom next slide? Okay, so these are the projects what we'll be giving to the students. So can you just go to the previous slide, sir? Okay, so these are the various projects what the students will be getting. Students will be getting projects from healthcare industry, insurance industry, textile industry, IT industry, so the government industry, chemical and petroleum industry. See, these are the various type of projects. I was telling you to work you on the cross-domain technology. These are the type of projects what you'll be getting at. So we'll go to the next slide. Sir, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, this is the IBM Ice Day competition which was conducted at Kalisilingam University last year. Just go to the previous slide. Okay, this is the poster competition which was conducted at IBM. See, IBM Ice Day again is conducted at the campus. So for the first year, it will be a poster competition. Second year, it will be a technical paper presentation. Third year will be a hackathon event, and fourth year it will be a project presentation. The winners of this event will get an award from IBM. They'll get a beautiful medal from IBM, and they'll get a certificate from IBM also. It's a fantastic opportunity. This is how we make the students learn and see how they progress in the future also. Okay, there are many other events which will be conducted again at the campus. Very good goodies for the students also will be coming. So plenty of good opportunities. And now it's the time the students have to think where they have to focus on. So I'll just leave it here. So I have explained briefly about what IBM does and all. Mr. Sheikh, can you show off your video? Mr. Sheikh, can you switch off your video, please? Okay. So students, I'll leave it to you now. So I just have 5 minutes more. So any questions what you want to ask about the IBM ICE program or about your curriculum or about the subjects or topics, please do ask now. I'll just leave this open.
Sorry, no.
Raja sir, if there is any questions, I'm more than happy to take questions. Yes.
Sir, excuse me. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, in the middle of class, you are just
Yes, speak.
said about Linux, sir. Linux or Linux or whatever it be. Linux. Sir, what is Linux, sir?
Yes. Linux is an operating system. See, you use computers, you use Windows. Linux is an operating system. Okay. Like what you do, your mobile, it has an operating system. It has either Android or it has either Windows. So similarly, Linux is also an operating system. Okay. So there are different ways of working it. The benefits of Linux is it's a robust system and it's an open source. It is free. It doesn't have any license also attached to it. The best part about Linux is you can even modify the operating system. If you are good at coding, you can modify that. It is open source. Just like how you buy a laptop, you install Windows 7 or Windows 10 or Windows 11. Instead of Windows, you install Linux. It's just an operating system.
Okay, okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Just it talk.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir. Why IBM is not offering a blockchain technology in cars, sir?
Which technology?
Blockchain.
See, blockchain is also available everywhere. Okay, we have even the specialization in blockchain. So it depends on university to university, the specialization what you do. It doesn't mean that you don't learn blockchain at your campus also. Okay, What happens, as you are joined in the first year, as I told you, first year you will be having poster presentation, second year you will be having tech presentation, third year you'll be given projects. You can be given a project on blockchain also. Okay, if you're really keen and interested in learning blockchain, so once when you already have enrolled into this program, I can take you. I discussed about IBM Academic Initiative portal. Okay, where it's already a free registration for you. Already you have enrolled into this. You'll be by default taken there, from where you can learn blockchain also.
Thank you, sir.
You'll get a separate badge for blockchain. And there are 3 levels of badges which you can earn: a beginner level, intermediate level, and an advanced level, which is all free of cost for you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, is
Thanks.
Linux better among
Any more
Windows, sir?
questions?
Is Linux is better among Windows?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I told you the advantages. See, Linux is always better than Windows. First thing is it is zero cost. And second thing is how the libraries are built in Linux. Okay, it's a very robust system. And the third thing is it is an open source, where you can go, and if you know coding very well, you can download that source code, modify, and you can have your own operating system. You can change the name and you can build it your own operating system. And it is very efficient because it has good networking capabilities, and it has good virtualization capabilities. So what you can, it is not the, but Linux is much more compatible across. The compatibility features matters a lot now. So when you learn analytics, or when you learn cybersecurity, you'll feel the importance of Linux in that.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Thanks.
you, sir.
Thanks.
Any more questions?
Sir, excuse me, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, IBM has 4 streams in our college. It will be dealt with Python, sir, or in any language.
Yes, absolutely. There is
Python is part of
Python
the curriculum.
there is Python. You'll be learning Python also.
Okay, sir.
Right.
sir.
And I heard one female voice. Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, is
Please
that
tell me your
mandatory
name.
to take Haripriya, sir? My name is Haripriya. Hello, sir.
Yeah, Haripriya, tell me.
Yeah.
Is that mandatory to
Yeah, please
take
go ahead.
specialization, sir?
Is it mandatory
See,
to take
specialization.
specialization?
Yeah, I got your question, Haripriya. I could hear some background noise.
Yes,
See,
sir.
Please mute your mic,
specializations
Haripriya.
gives. Yeah, can you mute your mic? So specializations. I could hear some background noise. So okay, specializations, Priya, it gives you a preference in the market. Okay. See, I told you the difference between a regular computer science student and a specialized student. See, what is the need of the hour you need to think? What is the industry expectations that you need to think now? Okay. So doing specializations right in the campus gives you an overall edge. Benefit is, first thing is you learn from the industry experts. Okay. Apart from academics, what they teach you, you learn from industry experts. Second thing is, the moment you walk out of the campus, if you don't have any specialization skills, the preference will be low, less preference. Because what will happen is, the moment you walk out of the campus, then you will think of going and doing an additional course. Say networking, say Cisco training, or that training, or this training. You will spend money again, right? For the sake of a job. And then what happens is, slowly, gradually, the way how it is taught out of the campus is different. The way the teachings are there in the campus is different. So what happens when you walk out of the campus? It is a very unstructured way of learning. They say it is a crash course. In 1 week, you have around 40 or 20 hours of learning. So you go and you fall for it. And a crash course is not something that you can learn in 20 days. You cannot learn technology in 20 days. A very simple, straightforward thing. What happens in campuses? Campus, there is a structured way of learning. For example, if you are learning Python, if you look at your campus timetable, Python is taught weekly, twice or thrice, and this goes on till 2 months or 3 months. campus, they have the timetable, and Monday you have Python class, Tuesday there is a gap, again Wednesday you will have. You should understand why there is a gap. There is a gap because you go and sit back, think and practice and come up with more questions to the next class. This is what you call as a structured way of learning. So if you look at your curriculum grid, there are something called as course credits. There is a credit, there is 4 credit. Why do you need a credit? Each credit is 12 or 13 hours, I think. So it means that 3 credit means 39 hours. To learn this subject, you need 39 hours. And 39 hours, if you divide it in a week, if you have 2 classes in a week, this goes for nearly around 39 or 40 weeks. It means that this course, to learn this course, you need at least 4 to 5 months. As simple as that. You don't get credits when you walk out of the campus. Okay. I mean, we'll not call it mandatory. See, we'll choose our preferences. What is the industry that is want, and what is it that you need? Whether you want to become an employee or whether if you want to become an employer. Things become easy for you because what happens is you learn everything in the campus, and when you walk out of the campus, you are industry ready.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Professor Raja, any other questions?
more questions?
I'll be very happy to take questions.
Students, if you have any questions, you can ask, or else we can wind up the session.
Yeah, students will stay connected, and I hope the lockdown finishes up very quickly. And even though I am from Bangalore, I'm really very eager to come back to the campus, and I'm just waiting for opportunity. I hope this is done soon. Yes, if the lockdown opens, I'll come back to the campus, and we'll see how we can be addressed. Yes, sir.
Sir, if you have, if you don't have any issue, you can share your mail ID so that people can ask their doubts if they wanted.
Yeah. So yeah. So shall I put it in the chat window, or Raja sir?
It would be much. Yeah, best sir. It would be much appreciable if you put it in chat box.
Okay, I'll put it in chat.
Students, you please make a note of it. If you have any more doubts in future, and you can ask them through mail itself. Yeah, Viksurki at
Heartless boy. Yeah, there is one question in the chat window. Sir, R language is there? Heartless boy. Yes, R language is there. If you're learning analytics, R is there. R is there. Python is there. And other Tableau is also there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's come to
Thank
that.
you very much. And yes, and thank you, Professor Raja, for. I know it is not. I know it is not easy to accommodate 100 or 200 students. It's a fantastic coordination, and as student, I really appreciate your time and very patiently you have listened. And please let me know if you have any doubts. Also, we'll be very happy to get back to you.
On behalf of our student community and on behalf of our department, I express my warm thanks to our resource person, Professor Vikruddin Soki, for spending his valuable time, and he gave lots and lots of information with us. Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye
people, you can go for
and hope to see you soon. Thanks. So, Professor Raja, I'll log off.
Yeah, thank you, sir.